Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be taking a bit of a dive into Kylie's second album, Enjoy Yourself and the Enjoy Yourself era. Grab a cuppa and come with me. So we're taking a look back at Kylie's 1989 second album, Enjoy Yourself, which I have here. So you might recognise this album, you might even have this album. So we're going to be taking a look at that and some other releases, including the nice cherry red big deluxe box, which looks like this. So I'll be opening that in a bit and showing you how that looks, as well as a couple of other editions. But first, we're going to be taking a bit of a step back in time, see what I did there, to 1989. Now, this was Kylie's second album. It was released in October 1989. So the album debuted in the UK with pre-sales of 600,000 copies, which at the time was really good, and it became the sixth best-selling album of that year. It went on to sell 5 million copies worldwide in its entire run, which was not far off the first album. However, after that, sales obviously dipped on the following albums, and we'll get into that in some other videos when we get round to that too. So let's go back to 1989. Well, what was happening? So shoulder pads were still up, big hair was still big, and Kylie had had a successful #1 album, huge seller, with her big pop hit I Should Be So Lucky, Locomotion, and the second album came around, and obviously things had changed a little bit in pop. Things were starting to move on, and there was a real move towards more credible, I'm not using that word, that's the word that was used at the time, credible dance pop music and club music was starting to appear. Now, I was starting to go out and experience clubs more. I was going to house parties. Techno was becoming a big thing in 1989. And the sound had really shifted from the Stock Aitken and Waterman bubblegum teenage pop. And I think the bubble was kind of starting to burst at that point. So interestingly, at the time, so when Enjoy Yourself was released, Black Box were at #1 with Ride on Time. You had Technotronic and Pump Up the Jam was #2, for those who remember that one. Yeah, I do. And one of my favourite singles of that year, Sydney Youngblood, If Only I Could, was #3. I love that song, and I used to dance to it all the time. Whenever it was on the club, that was it. I was on the dance floor. So thinking about that and what we know of the album, it was very different to what was mainstream at that point. Except #4 was Jive Bunny. What were you all thinking, UK? Seriously, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Now, in the US, things were a little bit different as well. So there was songs by the Rolling Stones, the Young MCs, Babyface, were all in the top 5 of the charts the same time that this album was released. So sonically, very, very different. So, however, PWL went on to release 4 singles from the album, all of them top 10. The first one, Hand on Your Heart, was a particularly bigger hit compared to the others. And that was played everywhere, and that's got a real bubblegum, driving beat, pure saccharine pop. You can't get much more Kylie pop than Hand on Your Heart. Everybody knows it, everyone knows the words, and at the time, it still filled a dance floor, even though it was kind of feeling a little on the cheese side. Now, before any of you big Kylie fans come for me, I am a big Kylie fan. Hello. And behind me on my pop wall. So this isn't necessarily a criticism of her, it's just a look back at what was happening and a look at some of the releases. But I think we have to be realistic that Stock Aitken and Waterman, PWL, were still heavily grabbing at that teen pop market. But I think even they were starting to realise that the writing was on the wall and things were going to have to change. So the following singles that came after that were Tears on My Pillow, which was okay. It was 50s. It was campy. Let's be honest. It was a campy 50s pop song. And it was to promote The Delinquents, which was the movie that Kylie was starring in. And it's very underrated. It's very of its time, but it's still underrated. Sadly, I can't say the same for some of the other acting choices. Oh, let's move on quickly, shall we? The other two releases were Wouldn't Change a Thing and Never Too Late. And they were, again, as I said, they were both top 10 releases. So, as for the album itself, it obviously sold quite a lot. It was a hit across the world, particularly in the UK, some territories in Europe and Australia, minor hit in America. It didn't really do particularly well. And I bet if I asked most American friends about the songs that they think of Kylie, they're going to be thinking The Locomotion, I Should Be So Lucky, Can't Get You Out of My Head of that time, because they were the ones that were released. Nothing else was really released in between. So that's not surprising. So one of the other notable things that happened at this time was this is the first point where Kylie went on a proper tour, as Kylie has done a lot of the time since on her own. And this was the Disco in Dreams tour in 1989. And they saw how that was going down. And that then became the Enjoy Yourself tour, which was in 1990, which was more UK Ireland based, whereas the Disco in Dreams was, I think, Far East Australia. But they were both highly successful, and we all know what comes next. But that's for another video. So let's take a look at some of the releases, and we can go through and see how they look and compare. Let's do it. So this is the first release, which is the UK album. Now you can see it's still, this is the one I bought back in the day. It's still got the lovely sticker here. And on the reverse, we have the track listing, little note here from Kylie herself, which is very cute. And then a lovely picture. Now inside, we also have a poster. So very cute, different picture, different stills from different shoots. And that was the UK album release. Now, the other two releases that I still have, for some reason I don't have the UK CD release, but let's not worry about that, right? Is the Australian release. I'm tempted not to do an Australian accent, don't do it. And that was released on Mushroom Records, as you can see. And that's, again, same picture as the reverse of the album. And then the track listing on the back with the Mushroom Records on there. So the next one I've got is the American release. This is a completely different cover to the UK and Australian one. As you can see, completely different CD, completely different picture inside, which looks, almost doesn't look like her. And then on the back, we have the track listing. Now, for those eagle-eyed viewers, you will spot there's one extra track on this one, and that's especially for you, the duet with Jason Donovan, which was added to the US release. So this was released in 2015 as a limited edition and collector's edition. This is the limited edition one, and it's in a very cute little box. So we open this up. See, the first thing you get is a lovely little collector's booklet with loads of pictures. Oh my word, that's pure 80s there, isn't it? Lovely booklet with lots of very cute pictures of Kylie. She looks so young. But there again, we all did. Beautiful pictures. And again, with the commentary that was on the vinyl. And then each CD comes in a separate container. So pink CD, cream CD, and then also a collector's DVD. Like I said, these were released in 2015 as part of a reissue of the 4 PWL albums. And these are very much out of print and rare now. So you would struggle to get hold of these anywhere, particularly at the same retail value. But let's go on and have a look at the bigger one, shall we? Let's put this over here for now. You can stay there. And that is this beauty. Now, this is quite the size. So it's LP box size. As you can see, it's quite thick. It's got little logos around the side. It's got a lovely sticker on the front as well. But let's get into it. Oh, I haven't shown you the back, excuse me. So you can see there we have the information on the back. Again, CDs, DVD, all the special extra bonusy remixes, which is great. So let's get into this. So as you open it, each one of them has this lovely ribbon that separates it with the style of the logo font for the album. And that opens everything up. So the first thing we're going to get to here is the picture disc. Now on the flip side of the outer cover is the track listing. Are you ready for this? And that's somebody else's song, isn't it? It's the first side, which is beautiful. And then the second side with the track listing. Now, the next thing that each of these have in common is, again, a poster, which you would have seen if you've seen my previous video for the first album. These are quite big posters, so I'm going to have to move the camera. So let's move back. As you can see, that is quite some size poster. It's single-sided. It is rather gorgeous. It's a shame there's not 2 of these in each box, so you can maybe take one out and frame it. That would be a bit Kylie nerdy, wouldn't it, really? But it would be very on brand for me. So let's be honest, that's what it would be. And then we have the lovely booklet, which again, similar to the smaller one, has lots of Kylie pictures. I think this one definitely has more pictures in than the smaller collector's, limited edition one, collector's edition. I always get them mixed up. You can come for me in the comments if you like, but it's not very nice. It also has the single covers, which is really lovely, and some details about each of the singles that was released. There's that lovely classic 80s waistcoat jeans combo. We all did it, don't you lie. I know you did. I did. I'm sure I wore that on a night out as well. Less said about that night, the better. That's giving me I Believe in You vibes. Anybody else? Gorgeous. So there's one of these in each of the booklets, each of the boxes, and then the same as the one I've just shown you. It's the 3 discs held in a separate card. And that is kind of embossed and gorgeous. Isn't that lovely? Would love it if another big pop star that came to prominence in the 80s did special edition box sets of all of her things as well. Not naming names, but can you guess who I'm talking about? I think you probably can. So let's put that back there, and then we'll do a bit of a roundup. So I'm looking at the track listing on here after we've been through some of the additions that I have. I think overall it's a nice pop album. It's a bit fluff, it's a bit light. Some of it is kind of cheese, but we also secretly like that, don't we? Don't we? Maybe. The single releases, Hand on Your Heart, Wouldn't Change a Thing, Never Too Late, particularly are really strong pop songs. There are a few others on here that just, when I'm listening now, just don't really feel it. And I don't think Kylie's ever performed any of them, particularly live, and I doubt she will anytime soon. I'd be surprised if we saw anything off here on any future tours. So the Tension tour is about to start when this goes out. So I very much doubt we're going to see anything off here, really, to be honest. I'd be very surprised. However, if you're listening, Kylie, I'm over dreaming over you and Enjoy Yourself. Could you please add them to the set list, and could you please sing them? Thank you very much, because we love those two songs. I think she definitely did. Yeah, she did both of them on, well, at least I'm over dreaming over you on the Anti tour, which was amazing. If you have a look on YouTube, there's loads of clips of it. It was never formally released. It was a one-off B-sides type concert that was done in Australia and the UK only over a small number of nights. But I would love to hear both those songs on the Tension tour. I'd be very surprised if we got them, though, to be honest. So that's our quick look at the Enjoy Yourself era. Now, we know, because we've got the fortune of looking back in time. I nearly did a time bomb or a step back in time reference then. I'm not going to, I promise. But musically, things are changing really rapidly, and Kylie clearly knew that. So for the next album, which is the absolutely game changer for Kylie, Rhythm of Love, that's where she clearly started to get more control over her sound, her image, her output. And she knew that. That's what she wanted, and that's what she got. And that's what we'll be looking at next. So please stay tuned. That video will be coming soon, and I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your favourite songs are from Enjoy Yourself era, or your favourite memories. Did you dance around the living room to Hand on Your Heart? I bet you did. I might have. Maybe, possibly. I'm not confirming nor denying. So tell me what you think. Let me know. And I'll be back soon, and we'll be unboxing some Rhythm of Love. Bye for now.